All right, February 27th, about to get out here on Lake Conway. Water's a bit dirty. We've had a little bit of rain and some ice, and so water's come up just a bit. So I'm gonna focus on some rocky main lake bank, probably throw a jig, a little trap here and there, and see what happens. I don't know how much of that we got on. Alright, as you can see, it's a good one. Black and blue jig, just in the front of a dock where it's getting some sun. Bet that's probably a 19 inch or so. We'll get on the board and see what's up. That's a good one. That is a pig. I got the camera down there. That is a pig right there. That is a big fish for Lake Conway. Typical Conway fish though. Short and thick, baby. This is how I like my women. She ate, and I mean ate that jig. That black and blue JP jig. Pick up that trailer from H4 Outdoors. It's just a river to sea. Beaver bait really, and I just pulled the claws off of it. As you can see, make it a little thin. But that fish is probably only 20 inches long, but I bet you it's a good 5-pounder. Just a little too close. One in there, that's where she'd be. Yeah, just too damn close. My ass, it wasn't. Alright, so got another one on the jig. Looks like the camera's kind of jacked up, but just found a little grass up on the bank, one of those floating mats. Just something different. It's up there pretty shallow, but I figured, you know, there's not a lot of that stuff around, so why not toss up on it? All right, hope you guys enjoyed the little venture out there on Conway today. Was able to catch a few fish out there. Got out there pretty late in the day, so probably didn't get out there on the water till about 3:45 or so. Was focusing on main lake stuff where there is some rock and some old boat docks and things of that nature. So I tend to like the main lake as we're in a pre-spawn phase right now, so a lot of those fish haven't moved all the way back in the pockets just yet. When the water's dirty on Conway, you know, the old time-tested black and blue jig can really, you know, do well out there. So I tried to get something going with the rattle trap, even threw chatterbait a little bit here and there. Couldn't get any bites, so ended up essentially catching, you know, the 3 fish I found on a JP Customs black and blue jig. It was in a 1/2 ounce. You know, I'm gonna show y'all real quick kind of how I put this thing together and kind of what I like to do with it. Talk a little bit about the trailer that I use this time of year. So when the water's still pretty cold like we've had it, I like to use something that's got a thinner profile. And this is just a Sweet Beaver from Reaction Innovations. So I picked these up at H4 Outdoors, downtown Conway. So when we got colder temps, you know, it comes like this. It has these extra little tentacles here on the side and your main little flapper here. When it's cold, I like a real thin profile, not a whole lot of movement, so I'll actually pull these off. So that's what I've done with that one. So sometimes I'll leave this together. Today I just had it pulled apart. You know, just kind of preference on what you're feeling. We had a little bit of sun, so I went ahead and just pulled that apart today. Now, me personally, I take a little bit of the top of this thing off, so it fits up on the hook a little bit better. So I'll usually bite or cut, you know, just about those first 2 sections out right there like that. So it just makes it a little bit more compact. Now, as far as the jig comes, you know, what I like to do, and this is no secret, most people that have seen people prepare jigs, I like to have this thing cut just below the hook. So essentially, if a fish grabs one of these tentacles here right now, there's a good chance they're going to grab it. My finger's right where that hook is. They could actually grab this piece and not even grab the hook. So I'll cut that down, so there's a higher percentage chance that, you know, a fish is just kind of keying in on one of these other pieces here and they grab it, they'll also grab the hook. So what I'll do is just take that and I'll just cut those down like so. And see, now you can see that, you know, the skirt doesn't come much past the jig at all now. So it just makes it a little bit more compact, you know, easier for the fish to grab. Now, as far as the weed guard, again, I think a lot of people do this, but I will actually cut a lot of this weed guard off. So I want it to be just a little bit past the hook. That'll stiffen that weed guard up for you, but also, again, just kind of takes some extra pieces of this jig that really, you know, if a fish grabs it, they're not getting hooked, right? So I'm gonna cut those little pieces off as well. You can see that's gonna make that a little bit more flush, you know, with the hook there. So stiffens it up a little bit. And then one other thing that I do is I try to cut some around both sides and the back of the skirt to raise up a couple pieces where it almost looks like, you know, there's some pieces coming out as if a crawfish was in kind of a defensive fighting mode. You'll see that a lot of times with finesse jigs. I go ahead and do it with my football jigs as well. So you'll see me, you know, cut a few pieces here. I'll cut a couple off the back, like so, and a couple on this side as well. But you can now kind of see how, you know, it's got a little bit of flare coming out on the back as well. So then I'll end up taking my Sweet Beaver here. Then I'll run that up. And then we got something that's pretty compact right here. And, you know, throw it in there. Hopefully if they grab any piece of this, they're going to suck it all down and get hooked up. But that's essentially my setup for, you know, colder water temps. That's how I prepared my baits for fork. And even when I went and fished on greers the other day, kind of the same way. So as the water temperature warms, of course I'll want more action. I'll go to something with more of those wider claws. You know, I like the Space Monkeys, usually are a good trailer for me when it warms. But when we're still cold, You know, I like to have things a little bit more compact. You got to think about stuff when you're outside and you're cold. What do? You know, you kind of hunch up and get like this. Well, you know, it's kind of the same theory with the crawfish under the water. If you've ever kind of watched them in the wintertime or been out on the river, you'll see that they do hunker down a lot more. So, and in the summertime, they'll be, you know, more spread out. So that's kind of why we do that, and I just wanted to share that piece with you, and hopefully I'll have another video coming to you soon on Conway.